My dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are fine. Today I have brought all the MCQs from The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. I've tried my best to include all the necessary details in this video. I hope it will be helpful for all of you. Starting from the first statement in the prologue, who introduces the story of Dr. Faustus? The chorus, Faustus, Mephastophilis, Wagner, and the correct choice is the chorus. To which Greek mythological character is Faustus compared in the prologue? Hercules, Perseus, Icarus, Theseus. And the correct option is Icarus. What fields of learning does Faustus consider before he turns to magic? Chemistry, biology and physics, logic, medicine, law and theology, navigation, astronomy, rhetoric and theology, grammar, history, science and Latin. And correct option is logic, medicine, law and theology. Which characters instruct Faustus in the dark arts? The scholars, Wagner and Robbins, the good and bad angels, Cornelius and Valdes. And the correct option is Cornelius and Valdes. Number 5. When he first summons Mephastophilis, how does Faustus ask him to appear? When he first summons Mephastophilis, how does he ask him to appear? In the shape of Franciscan friar, in the shape of a beautiful woman, as a winged creature with horns, as a handsome young man. So correct option is in the shape of a Franciscan friar. What is the name of the ruler of hell in Dr. Faustus? Satan, Mephastophilis, Lucifer, Beelzebub. So correct option is Lucifer. How long does Faustus demand that Mephastophilis serve him? And the correct option is 24 years. What does Faustus offer in return for this service? All his riches, the life of his firstborn child, nothing, his soul. And as you all know well, that he has offered his soul in return for these services. How does Faustus sign his compact with Lucifer? And if you remember, he signed that compact in his own blood. Other options: in the blood of a virgin, in ink produced in hell, or he doesn't do anything at all, but he does it in his own blood. What is the meaning of the words that appear on Faustus' arm in Latin? Satan's own, prince of darkness, fly man, you are doomed. So, the meanings of the words that appear on Faustus' arm in Latin, it means fly man. Who agrees under duress to become Wagner's servant? Faustus, the clown, Beelzebub, Helen of Troy. Now see, the clown said that I will become the servant, Wagner's servant. The clown was highly impressed by the Wagner, the attendant of Dr. Faustus. What does Mephastophilis refuse to tell Faustus? If Faustus will be damned, how many planets there are, where hell is located, and who made the world. If you remember that Faustus asked Mephastophilis to tell him who made this whole universe, who created this world, and Mephastophilis refused to tell the answer. Why does Mephastophilis refuse to answer this question, and what is the reason? What does he tell that why he is not able to answer? He says that the answer is against our kingdom. He does not know the answer. He thinks that the answer is too terrifying for Faustus to hear. He thinks that God will strike him down if he answers the questions. So the correct option is he Which character is publicly skeptical of Faustus' powers? Charles V, the knight who is also called Benvolio, the horse courser, the ostler. So, the knight who is named as Benvolio in the play, he is skeptical of Faustus' power. He was doubtful about that. How does Faustus humiliate this skeptic? He turns his skin green. He makes him unable to speak. He makes antlers sprout from the skeptic's head. He hypnotizes him and makes him strip naked. Now, Faustus humiliates the skeptic in the way that he produces antlers from the skeptic's head. Who tries to persuade Faustus to repent just before he reseals his pact with Lucifer? So when he tries to do it again, he signs the pact with Lucifer. An old man appears there and then, and he warns Faustus not to do so. So the correct option is an old man. What happens to the horse that Faustus sells to the horse courser? It turns into a dragon. It dies immediately. It lives a long and healthy life. It turns into a heap of straw when it goes in the water. If you remember, the horse courser turns into a heap of straw when it goes in the water. What does the horse courser think he is removing from Faustus' body after Faustus wakes? His shirt, his leg, his cloak, his hand. So it was his leg that he was pulling. What does Faustus fetch for the Duchess of Vanalt? A male slave, a griffin, a dish of grapes, a horse. If you remember that the Duchess, she demands a dish of grapes and it was out of season. But Faustus produced that dish before the Duchess. Where, according to Mephastophilis, is hell? Everywhere that heaven is not. Deep below the earth's surface, inside Faustus' soul, directly beneath heaven. So everywhere where there is no heaven, there is hell. What famous beauty does Mephastophilis present to Faustus in scene 12? Joan of Arc, Eleanor of Aquitaine, Catherine the Great, Helen of Troy. If you remember, it was Helen of Troy that was presented by Mephastophilis on Faustus' demand. What happens to Faustus at the end of the play? He repents and is saved. He kills himself. He becomes emperor of Germany. He is carried off to hell, and the correct option, unfortunately, is he is carried off to hell. How many people make up the chorus here in this play? So there is one. What two topics does the chorus say will not be tackled in the play? In the very introduction of the play, they say that the topic of love and war will not be tackled in the play. Where was Faustus born? Now, there are four options: Rhodes, Wittenberg, England, Wittenberg. So, the correct option is Rhodes. Now, he was born in Rhodes, but he comes to live in Wittenberg later on, and he lives with his kinsman. According to the chorus, who is swollen with cunning? Lucifer, Mephastophilis, the chorus, Faustus. Definitely, swollen with cunning is used for Faustus. Which area of scholarship does Faustus not discuss in his soliloquy? That is law, divinity, medicine, geology. And definitely geology was not discussed in the play. Therefore, in his soliloquy, geology was not discussed. Who visits Faustus while he is waiting for his friends to arrive? Lucifer, two angels, Valdes and Cornelius, Faustus' mother. Definitely two angels. What does the good angel encourage Faustus to read? The scriptures, a long poem, the Quran, Milton's Paradise Lost. And you must remember that good angel encourages Faustus to read Milton's Paradise Lost, and in order to know how did the fall occur. Over which country does Faustus imagine himself as king? Prussia, Italy, Germany, England. So Faustus imagines himself as a king of Germany, who lists several texts to help Faustus study magic. The evil angel, Valdes, Cornelius, Lucifer. So it was Valdes who lists several texts to help Faustus study magic. In scene 2, who does Wagner make fun of? Valdes and Cornelius, Faustus, two scholars, or God? So Wagner makes fun of two scholars. What does Faustus order Mephastophilis to wear? A king's robes, a monk's robes, a scholar's cap, an artist's smock. So it was a monk's robes that Mephastophilis was ordered to wear by Faustus, because he appeared in a very ugly and weird type of appearance. So Faustus orders him to wear decently and piously. What does Mephastophilis say he hopes to do to Faustus? Capture Faustus' soul, teach Faustus magic, obey Faustus, care Faustus. So Mephastophilis says that he intends to capture the soul of Faustus. According to Mephastophilis, what did Lucifer and the devils used to be? They used to be men, fairies, angels, or gods. So he says that Lucifer and the devils used to be the angels. So what food does Wagner say the clown would probably sell his soul for? A joint of beef, a shoulder of mutton, a well-seasoned turnip, or a large roast. So Wagner says that the clown would probably sell his soul for a shoulder of mutton. What does the inscription that appears on Faustus' arm, homofuge, mean? Now, if this word, we have already done this statement before, but homofuge, if this is written in the statement, and what does it mean in the play Dr. Faustus? So there will be the correct option, that is, O man, fly, or fly man. So according to Mephastophilis, where is hell located? According to Mephastophilis, where is hell located? Under the earth, everywhere, in the sun, in Norway. So he says that when Faustus asked Mephastophilis, where is the hell located? He answered that everywhere, and if there is an option, everywhere that is not heaven is hell. In the B text, what do Faustus and Mephastophilis disguise themselves as when meeting the Pope? So they were disguised as cardinals. Who was attempting to become Pope with the backing of the German emperor? It was Bruno, who, because if you remember, they were in the court. Faustus, along with Mephastophilis, they both were in the court of the Pope, and they come to know through the German emperor that Bruno was attempting to become Pope. What do Faustus and Mephastophilis do during the Pope's dinner? Make themselves invisible. If you remember that they were not visible in the court, okay? Then they are cursing. Whatever they say, they reply. Whatever the Pope says and his courtiers, Faustus and Mephastophilis respond, making themselves invisible. They are cursing them, their plans. Box the Pope's ear. It also happened by Dr. Faustus. So all the above options are correct. So the option is all the above, they are correct. This is correct option. What have Robin and Safe stolen from the tavern? They stole a cup. What happens when Faustus tries to use his blood to write the deed? When he was writing the deed, what happens? It could not be written. Why? Because he doesn't bleed. His blood congeals. He faints. The paper is ruined. So the correct option is, if you remember, his blood congeals. What pulled the chariot that took Faustus through the heavens? Horses, dragons, devils, doves. So the dragons pulled the chariot that took Faustus through the heavens. Which play is considered Christopher Marlowe's masterpiece? And definitely Dr. Faustus, or the tragical history of Dr. Faustus. Marlowe was accused of what? When he wrote this play, Dr. Faustus, he was accused of blasphemy. Which of the following is the famous quote about Christopher Marlowe? To be or not to be, that is a question. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. All the world's a stage, all the men and women merely players. Hell is empty and all the devils are here. I must add additional information here for you. The very first statement is to be or not to be, that is a question. This is from Hamlet. It's a play, Hamlet by William Shakespeare. Then the second statement, some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. If you have read Twelfth Night, the romantic comedy of William Shakespeare, it is taken from that play. All the world's a stage, all the men and women merely players. Again, William Shakespeare's from As You Like It. And now hell is empty and all the devils are here. It is a famous quote from Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. During the chorus, who has invited Faustus to his palace? Charles de Gaulle, Charles III, Charles V, Charles Dickens. So Charles V has invited Faustus to his palace. Who declares he will watch the action from a window because he is hangover? Bruno, Faustus, Charles V, Benvolio. So it was Benvolio, that is the knight. What do horse coursers do to try and wake Faustus? He yells in his ear. If you remember, he yells in the Faustus' ear to wake him. In the chorus, what has Faustus given to Wagner? All his wealth. Now who asks Faustus to make Helen of Troy appear? One of the scholars. As the clock strikes 11, what does Faustus see? A huge feast, his family and friends, a vision of heaven, a vision of hell. So when clock strikes 11, Faustus sees a vision of hell. What does Faustus wish to be upon his death so that he would simply cease to be a beast? Faustus represents the spirit of the medieval era, Edwardian era, Regency era, and the correct option is the Renaissance. How does Faustus use his tremendous gifts? For great food, for trifling entertainment, for great evil, for huge personal gain. So it is for trifling entertainment. At which point in the play does Marlowe use much of his finest poetry? In Faustus' final hours. What does Faustus see running across the sky during his terrible last night? He sees the Christ's blood. When Christopher Marlowe died, he was -years old. He was 29 years old. He died at a very young age. Christopher Marlowe was born in 1564. I hope this is a detailed information about Dr. Faustus. I thank you all for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe it. I thank you all.